This movie is fantastic. Two of my favorite lines are references, and they actually reference X-Men 3 like 3 times. And I'm pretty sure they reference Stryker when they talk about Xander Rice. But he doesn't have the same name as his dad. So I thought that was weird. But I don't think he's Stryker's son because of that fact. But, I mean, he did say, though, that Stryker was, the one that put the metal in him in X-Men Origins, Wolverine's first movie. So I don't know who else he would be referencing. I guess he just changed his last name. Anyways, two of my favorite lines are, one, when he's fighting the clone, he says, "What are you?" Which is happened quite, a lot of times in the series. Someone will be fighting Wolverine, and he'll heal like crazy, or he'll just be going crazy, and they always say stuff like that. So I thought it was cool that the tables are turned this time. I do think the whole idea of the clone was dumb. Sabretooth would have fit better. Or just somebody else. Not this dumbass clone. This clone gets killed by an animadium bullet. And it's supposed to be like the younger version of him. I think that's just dumb. The younger version of Wolverine got shot in the head with a regular bullet and was up a minute later and survived a nuke and survived a Dark Phoenix tearing his skin to shreds. So many things he survived. He survived getting shot in the head twice by an animadium bullet, and then this one gets like shot in the back of the head. It's a different type of gun, but I still don't think it should be that powerful to be able to finish him for good. Especially since it's supposed to be Wolverine. So I thought that was dumb. They actually do reference Sabretooth in a deleted scene. So, that sucks. My second favorite thing was when he dies and he says, "So this is what it feels like." Because Wolverine always has wanted to die. Though speaking of that, there is a line they messed up. Caliban talks to Wolverine about the animadium bullet that he found in Logan's pocket that he was going to use to kill himself. So I guess maybe this animadium bullet, since this is the future, might be more powerful than the one in X-Men Origins, but I still don't get it. Why is a bullet that powerful just because it's animadium? I get like the claws tear through a lot of shit, but I still don't get why it's this powerful. But anyways, Caliban is the one that tells Wolverine about how he knows what Wolverine's planning to do. But later in the movie, I'm pretty sure Logan's talking to X-23. He says that Charles was right, I wanted to kill myself with this. But it was Caliban who said it. Speaking of Caliban, he had like 2 scenes in X-Men Apocalypse. The only person he really interacted with was Apocalypse and Mystique, who obviously aren't present in this movie. But now he's friends with Logan and Charles. There's no explanation. The closest thing we get is he says at one point that a year ago they asked him for help and he decided to help them. And they actually give him a bit of character development. Because, like I said, he only had 2 scenes in another movie. We didn't even know his powers. In this movie, we find out he's basically Charles Xavier, just without Cerebro. He can track mutants. And he has a skin condition, so he can't be out in the sun. He was a cool character to add, but he doesn't add too much to the movie besides being a plot device, and that's how they find Logan and all of them. And then they end up killing him. Well, he kills himself, and then they take his blood. There's a new kind of main character in here. And he just spends the whole movie getting his ass kicked by kids. Donald Pierce. Xander Rice is listed lower than Gabriella, and she had like 2 scenes. Xander didn't have that many scenes either, but still. Crazy. But yeah, Donald, he just spends his time getting his ass kicked. He loses to X23 early in the movie. And then later in the movie, he gets attacked by one of the mutants, and then they all just murder him. Which was a pretty dark scene, since those are little children doing that. But it was still cool either way. Logan kinda gets his berserker rage, which they never really showed because the movies were PG-13. But it's really only from something that's kinda like an adrenaline shot. Richter gives him this medicine that will apparently make him feel better, and Wolverine decides to take it all at once because he wants to save the kids. And it just wears off in like a very, very fast. Especially since he used the whole thing. That doesn't make sense to me. It should have lasted way longer. I get different things are different things, but Charles had pills that he took. And those lasted for quite a bit before he would, get his powers back. So I don't get why it's not the same for this. I don't expect it to be the exact same, because it's used for different reasons, but they're both for mutants. So I don't get why it just wears off so fast, especially once again, since he took the whole bottle. It wears off in 6 minutes? Kills a bunch of soldiers, and then after he's done killing soldiers, it's wearing off. That's it. It just wears off too fast, because they needed it to wear off for the final battle, I guess. But all they do is call it green medicine. They don't even really explain it. Because they're like, oh, the movie's almost over. Can't explain it. They don't even really explain the clone thing either. They're just like, well, they got some Wolverine's blood, end of story. Though that doesn't... The only thing it kind of makes sense for is because they did the same thing in X-Men Days of Future Past with Mystique. Wolverine takes some safety with this family for a bit. He gets home with the husband, and they hear screams. I did not like this scene. Logan, as you can tell, is clearly older in this movie. Clearly older. Gray hair, different hairstyle, bit of a mustache. And then Logan clone. Buzz cut, clearly younger, no gray. Yet when the clone goes there and kills the whole family, basically. They think it's the other Logan. Because later the dad survives his wounds long enough to go outside and ram the car into the clone, get out, shoot it a few times. Then he turns around to see the real Logan, and he tries to shoot him, and the gun is empty, and he falls to the ground. I get maybe the other one's not realizing it since it's like a life or death situation and it's happening really fast. But Will was with Wolverine when it happened. I don't know why he would think it was Wolverine that did it. Maybe he thought they were like some evil twin thing and they just did this their whole life. Like they would just take unsuspecting families and rob them or kill them or something. I don't get why that went through his head. When I originally watched the movie, I remember how sad that scene was, but it's still really sad. It just doesn't make sense to me. The man was defending you just a while ago and was willing to fight people that had shotguns. I don't think he was there to kill you, dude. But I get you're bleeding out and stuff. They also finally show Wolverine's costume a few times. Because now, apparently, there's X-Men comic books. They've never been mentioned before in literally any X-Men movie. I get it's future, but once again, a lot of stuff that they just throw in because it's the future. So, Wolverine has his actual costume in the comics, so I don't explain why either, like, at all. They're just like, yep, it's there. Isn't that cool? Like, how did he get the costume? Did he start wearing it way in the future? Did the writers just give him that costume because they thought a superhero couldn't sell without a costume, like the writers in that universe? Why is he wearing that yellow costume? He's never worn it at all in these movies. I would like an explanation, at least a little bit of one. And then the kid later has an action figure of Wolverine out of nowhere. It's kind of funny. After Wolverine has the big fight with the clone and gets killed by him, one of the kids is standing there with a Wolverine toy. He just has it out of nowhere. It was kind of funny to me. But it actually is a really good movie. It's probably one of the best X-Men movies in the series. And I guess that's about it. I did not like the villain. The Doctor was kind of lame. And the clone was kind of lame. But the actual story was really good. And yeah, that's about it.